Well, good day, everybody, and welcome back to Notes from the Pastor Cave. It's a little noisy outside right now. Not sure why. I mean, it's been raining, so when the cars go by, they make a little extra noise, and I guess that's part of it. So please forgive if that is distracting to you at all. But I just wanted to get the door open for a few minutes. Very humid in the area right now. I'm wearing a little bit different hat today because this is a hat known as a kepi, and it was worn by soldiers during the American Civil War. I'm kind of trying to remember here that I have an international audience. But the American Civil War, obviously the guys down south would try to wear a gray cap, and the guys up north would try to wear a blue cap. And and the reason why I'm doing that today is that it's July 1st, which July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of 1863, the Battle of Gettysburg was fought. And so I'm just commemorating that in my own way. And I have, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. He's coming up pretty well. This is a little rendition of Colonel Chamberlain that I have here, who was leading the 20th Maine on the extreme left flank of the Union Army. And so he's joining us today, though I don't have a little stand for him to go on, so you probably won't, unless I stand here and hold him, you won't be able to see him. But anyways, it's also a big day if you are connected to Britain or France at all, because July 1st of 1916, the Battle of the Somme kicked off in northern France, and that was several months of fighting, depending on how you see the starting and the stopping of things. But in that conflict, eventually there were 1 million casualties. 300,000 men lost their lives on both sides in the Battle of the Somme. So just a terrible, bloody thing that took place. Both the American Civil War and World War I, if you are a military strategy guy at all, badly fought, just badly fought. And it was the rank and file soldier who paid for it. It's just incredibly high casualty rates. At any rate, we are in I'm gonna hold Colonel Chamberlain here. At any rate, we are in Exodus chapter 20, and of course the big feature of Exodus chapter 20 takes up almost all of the chapter, is the Ten Commandments. And this is, the Ten Commandments are being rolled out by God for the first time, and he's instructing Moses on what those Ten Commandments are. And the people are all at the foot of Mount Sinai, and they are definitely not in a mood to want to go any closer. So, God starts out by saying, make sure you don't come any closer. And it's like, no problem, God. We definitely will not come any closer. And that's kind of where I want to go with this, because the Ten Commandments being there in chapter 20 kind of sucks all the air out of the room, so to speak, and we forget to look at the rest of it, which there's another 5-6 verses on top of that. And it says in verse 18, after God has instructed these Ten Commandments, it says this: "Now when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled, and they stood far off." And then, key verse here, "And they said to Moses, 'You speak to us, and we will listen. But do not let God speak to us, lest we die.' Moses said to the people, 'Do not fear.'" Okay, but I got looking at that, and I got thinking about that, and what's happening here is that the people are looking to settle for a set of rules and a surrogate relationship. They're looking to settle for a set of rules and a surrogate relationship. Okay, so God has handed down these rules, And their response to that is, okay, here's some rules. We see that rules are good in a certain setting, and so yeah, we will follow the rules, but we don't want the relationship that is supposed to go along with these rules. In other words, these rules were laid down for a people who were in relationship with their God. And and we see throughout history societies, cultures that try to just have these rules as just kind of a rote thing. It doesn't work. It either descends into legalism, a kind of a cruel, awful legalism, or it goes the other way, and people just start, they just start ignoring them after a while. These laws, these 10 commandments, were handed down to a people who were supposed to know their God, and were supposed to converse with their God, and were supposed to talk with their God, and hear their God, and speak to their God. And so they're willing to settle for, okay, we'll just have this set of rules, and we'll let somebody else do all the relationshiping here. You Moses, you do all the relationship here with the living, breathing God. That's a little too scary for us. So go ahead and do it. And I got thinking about that, and unfortunately, I have to say that we really very much try to do the same thing in our lives, because God reminds us over and over and over again. Of course, we have the rest of the Old Testament, and now we have the entire New Testament to prove this out, that God wants to be in relationship with us, and that it's all about relationship. And we're just constantly trying to make it into something that's not that. We're constantly trying to take the relationship part out of this service of God. And we're trying to trying to turn it into a set of rules, or just do the right thing, right? Just do this, and everything will be fine. Because then we can skip the hard part. Because anybody who's married, or anybody who has children, or anybody who has friends know that the hard part of relationships is the relationship. You've got to work at it. You've got to do something with it. It can't just sit there. The minute you leave a relationship alone, it immediately begins to degrade, or it begins to fall apart. So you have to constantly be attending to it. And it's the same way with God. And there's something within us that just really doesn't want to do that hard work. And there's also something within us that's a little bit scared to really be in relationship with God, because there's probably a lot of reasons for it, but one of the reasons is we don't like to be in a relationship where the other person has all the strength and all the power and all the control and all those things, because we like that. We like to be in control of our relationships. When we're in a relationship with God, God is in control with the relationship. Okay, so that's part of the problem. And so then you have verses 22, 23, 24, which says, "And the Lord said to Moses, Thus you shall say to the people of Israel, You have seen for yourselves that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make gods of silver to be with me, nor shall you make for yourself gods of gold. An altar of earth you shall make for me, sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I will come to you and bless you. If you make an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stones." In other words, just rocks that you find. "For if you wield your tool on it, you profane it." Okay, and so here's God saying, "Look, I've done all that so that you understand that I'm a talking God. I'm the real God, And some, it's a little hard for us in 2021 to think about this, but all the gods of the earth here, when the Israelites leave Egypt, all the gods of the earth, they're made of stone or wood or some other material, and people spend their whole lives hoping, praying, wishing that their God would talk to them, as they're standing before a piece of rock. And here is God, the real God, saying, this is proof that I talk. And you've seen for yourself that I have talked with you from heaven. I'm a talking God because I'm the real deal, because I am the real thing. So you have seen that I have communicated directly with you in relationship with you. Okay, so think about that when you juxtapose that against all the other religions of the world who just wish, hope, pray that one time in their lives that piece of wood would just open its mouth and speak one time. And here we have a God who speaks prolifically, and it's easy for us to kind of forget that sometimes, that God is a God who speaks prolifically. And, he doesn't just have a word here and there, but he speaks to us prolific because of relationship. Relationships are about communication. Nobody knows that better than God. And I always get back to this, but, it was God that used to come to the garden in the cool of the day to hang out with Adam and Eve. Why? Because he was in relationship with him, because they would speak to him and he would speak to them. All right. And that desire by God has never, ever changed. And we see that theme throughout the scriptures. No matter how far you go, you see this theme of God speaking to man. And finally, in its ultimate form, with a visit from the Son of God himself, walked the planet for about 33 and a half years and had a lot to say and brought salvation to his people. Okay, so I'm a God. I've communicated with you directly. Therefore, you don't need these things. You don't need gods of gold. You don't need gods of silver, because I already speak. All you have to do is open your mouth, talk to me. I will answer you. And in fact, right here, when you sacrifice to me, I'll come to you. I promise that I will be there. And this is what separates the real worship of God from all of the idols that we can produce in our lives, whether they're ancient idols or whether they're our modern idols of commercialism or selfishness with our time, or all the other idols that we can produce, because we're really good at producing idols. The difference is the real God speaks and speaks into our lives. Have a great day. God bless you. Say hi to Colonel Chamberlain. Vita brevis gloria aeterna. Life is short. Glory is eternal.